What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back for
Hello.
another Marriage Monday live with the Tillmans and the Bullocks. How y'all doing, Bullocks?
We're,
Oh, we're doing good. We're
we're
doing
doing
really good.
good.
I
Yeah.
just got back from my hometown, Detroit, and so got a chance to take care of some business up there and see my sister and uh, help my brother with some stuff. So
All right. You're out doing your family thing. I wasn't sure that you were gonna be back. I think Angie did tell me yesterday. Was it yesterday, Angie, or the day before that you would be back?
Yeah.
Um, um, Yeah, so our topic for tonight stems from some questions that we usually get from like when we do our events or we're like a small group talking to couples. One of the things that especially the younger couples ask about is, what are the next steps in terms of money? What do we do first? What if we run into
Mm-hmm.
this? Buy a house? Those types of things. So we're going to be talking about the top 10 money struggles couples have. And regardless of you having the struggle, because we all have go through our struggles, how do you win? Right? How do you work together to overcome those struggles and to still win financially? How you set a
Yeah.
foundation, a financial foundation where you can still win, even though you're going to come up against these headwinds or these money struggles.
yeah,
All right. So
all
that's what we're
right.
talking about tonight. And before we get into our topic, I ran across so Kev on stage posted something and from a young I guess he's a young brother. And I was like, man, this just sounds crazy. So I just want y'all to listen and we're gonna discuss or talk about it a little bit. So this is from Kev on stage. Now it's not Kev on stage saying this particular thing. You'll see when I post when I
Okay.
share. Let me see if I can share my
Hey,
screen.
Katie.
Oh, Kendra's joining us.
Where's she at in the country? She where's KT? I just realized she's not here.
Whatever.
KT, tell me where you at. All right, so can y'all see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. So put it back to the beginning and let's listen for a short minute.
If I'm out, don't ask me where I'm at. Don't ask me who I'm with. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Are you the leader in this relationship? No, I'm the leader in this relationship. Wherever I'm at, who I'm with, or what I'm doing is for me to
Even
know.
if you're in a relationship?
Yes.
What if they do it to you?
I am your leader. I need to know.
I think a lot of men don't want to lead their woman. They want to rule over their woman.
So I'll stop it right there, and you can go and listen. I'll have a link somewhere around this live tonight in the comments or something where you can go and listen to the whole thing. That Kev's response, it was really good. But I had this when I saw that, I was like, I need a brother. I need Dennis so I can just look at him and he can look at me crazy. It's like, is that real? Are people out there catfishing us on some of these things they're talking about, or are they really serious about that?
Yeah, my from my opinion, it's all opinion based because I hadn't heard all the stuff that Kev probably said, and I'm pretty sure is consistent to probably what I agree with. Um, let me say, early in my marriage, I think there was some times where I felt like I was supposed to be this as a man. And I think sometimes culturally or what's being pushed, certain
But you was
agendas.
never that.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't never
That's
that.
extreme.
I was never that. And I don't think my disposition would never be that way with you or anything like that. But I think sometimes what's said to us is that the man is supposed to be this, the man is supposed to do this. And early when it was coming up, it was seen as the man is the head. And so I think sometimes people take it a little extreme, Oh, well, okay, KT. See, we was in the middle of the flow, but so Living Well community. I just want to take the time. I want to take the time to wish a happy birthday to this man right here. We call him
Deep
DT.
fresh detail.
Daniel Tillman. Happy birthday,
Happy
fella.
birthday to you.
Was-
Happy birthday
Did you do
to
anything
you.
for your
Happy
did you do anything for your
birthday
birthday?
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Not really. I hung out with the kids here at the house, but so let me see if I can show y'all this. So my son bought me these Crocs, right? And he put my name on them. And so
Aw.
Okay.
I
All right.
put my name on them. And then my youngest, I was sitting on the couch. He came to me. He was like, I'm about to go to the mall to get me some stuff for homecoming, but I'll take you to Top Golf later on and I'll pay for it. I was like,
Wow.
oh, we going. You talking about paying for it. We going.
Hey, when they get the kids to say, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
paying for it," I say, "Hey,
Those are
let's
the big
go.
gifts.
Let's go."
Those are big gifts.
Well, happy birthday, big fella. It's always a pleasure celebrating, especially as we starting to, get into our 50s. I mean, we're, now I'm 50, and then it's 51,
Yeah.
then it's 52.
Yeah. But I know we said it personally, but KT is right. It is good to say it publicly to you. Happy
Oh, I
birthday.
appreciate it. It's interesting once you get to this age because it's like I remember I was in man camp just a few weeks ago, right? And so my roommate asked me. He's a younger guy. He was like, "Man, how you are fit? How old are you?" And he's like, "If you don't mind me asking." I said, "No, it's cool." I said, "I'm 50. I'm 51, y'all." But I was like, "I'm 50" because
You like it hasn't happened yet.
stuck at 50.
Let's do that in a couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
think for me, I like just like I won't say it like that, but like okay, for example, today I had to go to a doctor appointment and I had the little wristband and said my name, my birthday, and then it said how old I was, and the nurse was like, and I just like freaking people out. I was like, yep, I'm about to be 52 years old, and they're like, whoa. So you're getting the same thing, Daniel. That's all.
Yeah.
Folks are like, no way.
Yeah.
No, not who's 52?
Daniel is.
He 52? I thought he said 51.
No, I was 51 a few weeks ago. When he asked me the question.
That's what I thought you were saying. I was like,
No.
okay.
I was saying that he asked me how old I was. I told him 50 because in my mind I'm stuck. All right, I'm at 50.
I got you.
But in reality,
Yeah, you don't look 52 at all. Yeah.
I'm almost 52.
Yeah, when you start seeing some of the people, on Instagram celebrating their birthdays, and you start seeing, it's like, wow, I didn't know. Wait a minute, I'm that old too.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say old. I should say wise. But
Yeah, I was gonna say we wise.
Yeah.
We not old.
Yeah.
We're growing in wisdom.
But I will say, I wish I was as fit as Daniel.
Yeah, I think we all could.
Hey, we can all get there. It's just
Yeah.
little bit of consistency.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say about being older. I think I am more fit in my age now than I've ever been. Right. And it's because I focused on food and strength training. Like when I was younger, I had the genetics, right, that kept me cut, lean, and all of that. But when you hit like 40, if you're not working on it, man, that pot belly hits you faster than white on
40s
rice.
is real.
Yeah, and
40s is real.
And they just stay with you.
Yeah,
like,
40s is real.
you used
I
to-
remember people told me they're like 40s is gonna be a change, and I was like, whatever. I hit 40, nothing changed, and so I was like, what they talking about? I hit 41. I was like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
can't see.
that's exactly right. And because when you hit that age, it's like stuff happened, and you like, I didn't do anything. Why am I?
Yeah.
doing
Right.
I've been eating this way since I was 20 years old. Why start doing it now?
It's like, I'm trying to get down and praise God, and I can't get down there because my knees hurt.
Or I can't get back up. I was watching.
I was trying to see what KT was talking
Talking about
about.
she a young
I'm a
whippersnapper.
whippersnapper.
She a young whippersnapper.
Okay. Out there. Yeah.
I was gonna say though, I was watching on internet. I was watching Big Daddy Kane. I used to love
Big
Scuba-
Daddy Kane.
Scuba
What?
Scrap used to be my
She
favorite.
really showing her age.
But they were saying like this how we danced in the 80s and 90s, and no wonder our knees hurt now. And I was like, that's what it is. Like that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, we used to dance back
We
in
used
the
to
day.
get it.
I don't know if they do that.
I don't know what they do now.
They have AI do it for them. They have AI dancers.
AI dance for 'em.
Okay. Well, back to our regular schedule program. As Kevin Stage had previous said, I don't think I was ever that way. I don't think I was ever demanding, but there was a point where I felt culturally the man is supposed to be the head, and so I felt like there was a weight on my shoulder.
Expectations.
Yeah, there was a weight there that if I failed in any shape or form financially, it was all on me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And what I loved about my wife, I will say this, I will celebrate her, give her a pat on the back, because there would be times where, yeah, it was probably on me. I made a mistake, but she will always say, we're in this together. You know, we did this together. And I was like, you know, it was really me that did that. But thank you.
Well, you know, there's grace. We're gonna talk about all of this when we get into these points, but there's grace because it might not be your thing now. You might not be the cause of it today, but you're gonna be the cause of something tomorrow. And so you have to be extending grace to one another and understanding that we are in this together. And finger pointing doesn't help.
Not at all.
It don't.
Not at
really
all.
Don't. I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no matter whose fault it was, it still affects all of us. So it really doesn't help to be like, why'd you do that? Or put people on the shame show. It's just gonna make the situation worse.
Yeah, I feel like just in this debating culture that we're in, everybody either you want to be right or you need to agree with me, or it's your fault. The reason why this happened, you know, it's all your fault, you know. And I'm the reason why I'm failing in life is because of this one incident that happened a year ago or two years ago or something like that. It's your fault. So.
Yeah, and in marriage, I don't think there's a whole lot of room for debate in marriage because what people do in debates is try to win an argument, and it is said that debate is for discourse and dialogue and to help and understand each other. But when you look at a lot of debates, you're really looking at somebody that's really trying to make the other side's argument look stupid or it have no value, and they want to make their point be known. Whereas in marriage, as a husband, you cannot win an argument with your wife because if you do win the argument, now she feels a certain way about that, right?
Yeah.
That you've made her feel, less valued or less heard or whatever. Or hey, I'm the man. You need to listen to what I have to say. I was gonna say that based on that video that I give the young brother some grace in that he will grow. I hope, and because I remember having thoughts of hey, I'm the leader, and you got to listen to what I say, and all of that. I never took it to the extreme of that kind of attitude that was coming from him.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely think those things. I'm right, and you need to come around, right? But now understanding that you submit one to another, that I don't have to be right, and I'm not 100% right, even if I feel I am right. So,
But let me say this: I will give him credit. He is taking ownership and wanting to be a lead in his relationship. Sometimes brothers just kind of be passively.
If you listen to the whole video, because I watched that video, and he to me, he just it didn't seem like it was about leadership. It seemed like this is no matter what. If I'm saying stupid stuff or if I'm doing right, you have to follow me, like because I'm the leader. And I don't know if I'm paraphrasing it well, but I don't know. It just wasn't a lot of wisdom in his quotes.
Well,
I hear what you're saying. I hear what Dennis is saying in that he is trying to fall into a role of I'm taking responsibility and leading this family or whatever it might be.
yeah,
His approach is so off, right? The approach is so off. It's the difference in having a servant leader versus having a dictator.
yeah.
He was flown on dictatorship stuff.
Yeah. And you know, again, we don't. I still think with social media, you've got to be careful because people are trying to get likes and follows, and so maybe he's trying to,
maybe that's truly what he believes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, but it is definitely not the right approach. You're not gonna, definitely win. I know I'm not gonna win with her with that type of attitude. Oops, I'm sorry.
What was that?
That was your mouse.
That was my mouse. Okay.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna win with Kendra on that front. It's not gonna happen.
But I do think, like, I know we said earlier, like, you can't really win an argument against like your spouse, but I just think it's like, what's your definition of argument? You know what I mean? Because like, it could be a disagreement. It could be, I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, even like when we talk about conflict and how we've had the conversation of conflict is not a bad thing. I think most people don't hear it as conflict. You know what I mean? They don't hear it in that positive way. Like it could lead to growth in your relationship. And I think what is the definition of somebody's argument? Like to me, an argument when we first got married was just simple, simple stuff. Like he might say, I want honey. And I might say, I want this. And to me, it was like, oh no, is this the moment? Like we're about to argue. Like I was so like afraid of it. It was just like such a scary thing to me. And I had to learn like, it's not really a horrible thing. We're just discussing things. And so sometimes I think it's like, how do you do it? Is it disrespectful? Is it yelling? Is it screaming? Is it slamming doors? Is it walking out? Is it cussing each other out? Or is it just like, you know what, let's listen to each other, even if we're struggling? Because I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about the topic. I was like, I think it's so hard sometimes when it comes to whether it's money or arguments or whatever it could be, because there's so much involved. It's like a gumbo situation. That's how I'm gonna use it. Meaning like there could be fear, right? I'm afraid of losing something. It could be feelings of control, like, well, if we go here, this could happen. It could be feelings of, I don't want to lose and I'm right. It could be dictatorship. Like there's so much that goes into when you're having an argument, like a full blown argument, not just a disagreement, that it really takes, we tell people in counseling all the time, relationships take skill building. Like it's working on skills, working on listening, working on communication, working on all kinds of different things until you get a flow, but it doesn't start naturally. I don't think we've never had a couple come in that didn't have communication problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's never been a thing. Like, and I don't think we are like, oh, we arrived. We're amazing at communication. Like popping collars. We're like, we've grown, but we still got some stuff to grow in, you know?
Yeah, so and I think you just have to see conflict as a tool toward the growth that you need in your relationship, because you can't avoid it, right? Because if you try to avoid it, then you're either going to shut down, stonewall, not talk to each other. Because you don't always see eye to eye. There's going to come a few days, many days, where you don't see it the same way. And the only way to get to the same page is to negotiate through your differences. That's why I see. That's what I see.
Yeah. And Kendra asked, what did I think was going to happen if we argued? I grew up in a house where I really didn't see my parents argue a lot. So I think in my head, I built a lot of what would possibly happen if there were real arguments. I know my parents had disagreements. They just evidently handled them like people are supposed to handle them, because I didn't see a lot of like, you know, screaming and yelling and fighting and all that other stuff. I think I was afraid of exactly what I said: screaming, yelling, fighting, hitting, like the intense piece of that you see sometimes in relationships. And I will say this too, I have had in the past people who were, you know, who would like, you know, I wouldn't say I went through abusive relationships, but I had people who would either mentally try to like really do me in That's the only way I can think of saying it, but who will really come for me mentally. But then I've had one or two people who I've been thrown against walls, I've been thrown against cars, things like that. So I think that you know about it. Don't be acting like that. Don't be acting like this new material, like this new information. So I honestly think I was afraid of the what if could like, is this going to be a moment where I may be like screamed at, or, you know, I was thinking in my head what could possibly be. I would say that's what I was scared would happen.
Now, when we're talking about money, my question to you guys is, do you feel like how you was raised? Because some people, I mean, to them, money, you know, like growing up in Detroit was hustle city, I could say. It was hustle city. And so if me just go back to the 90s, if you had some money, for the men, if you had money, you had the clothes, and I think they still say drip. I'm not sure if they say drip anymore.
I think it's drip still.
But if they had the clothes and everything like that, you had the cars, you was going to get the ladies, you was going to get the attention. You know, even the fellas would be like, you know, man, look at what you got, look what you got. And so for a lot of us in our community, having money represented success, right? And so when you get
with the ladies.
Yeah, even with the ladies. I mean, ladies wanted to date the guy that had the money. You know, he's like, you ain't got nothing over here, and then this guy got this one, so I'm gonna go with him. And you still see it kind of traditionally happening. You know, you see with the athletes, or you see with people that got a lot of money. You're gonna see that man get more of this versus somebody who doesn't. So I think traditionally, money has been some type of, what we heard in church has been some type of magnifier. It attracts. And so do you feel like having money, I don't know how to say this, making money, having money,
help me, Jesus.
Yeah, help me.
Help me, Jesus.
I'm trying to say, like, if I had money, am I trying to hold on to it, or am I using this type of status to attract certain things? You know, so now that I'm in a relationship, I have this money now. I feel free. I can do what I want to do. I feel this particular way about myself. Do you feel like that's what happens in a relationship now that I have money? Or do you feel like because I have money, now I'm trying to hold on to it, and this is what I earn, you coming along my ship, all that other type of stuff?
Have a safe trip, KT. Go ahead.
Oh.
Just getting on a plane.
So
I didn't mean to be rude.
Yeah, somebody help me with my thought. I'm trying to get
I'm trying to get over there, man, but
I'm a little.
How about we just erase it? Let's just erase the thought, and then I'm just trying to think.
Are you just trying to say, like, what are people's motivation in marriage? Why they're?
I'm saying now that I have money, or I have the success, do I feel like it's because of the money that represents the relationship? Maybe that's what I would say. It represents how we are, because you don't know.
That's a confusing.
Okay, let's erase that. Somebody come on with something. Let's erase that one.
Maybe so let me go through and let's jump.
Maybe
right
it's jet lag. Maybe it's jet lag. I blame jet lag on that one.
maybe it'll become more clear to you and how you want to express it as we talk through these top 10 money struggles that couples have. So I was doing some research, and I tried to grab these in order, right? Right now, what are we dealing with as couples from a financial money perspective? And so I'm going to list those top 10, and then we'll talk through them one by one. So number one, right now, what married couples are dealing with is housing affordability. Number two, childcare cost. Number three, inflation. Like, everything has gone up. I was just talking to Kendra about that the other day. Credit card balances and delinquencies. Very few or very little emergency fund or emergency savings. Student loans is number 6.
Yeah.
financial infidelity, right? Not telling your spouse about what's
the truth.
going on with your money.
Yeah.
Money conflicts and misalignment. That's in general. And then home ownership barriers. It's kind of similar to the first one, but home ownership barriers. And then number 10, role, it was listed as role overload or single partner burden. Like one part, like kind of what you were talking about, Dennis, in the beginning, where you felt like it was all on your shoulders. So that's kind of what that is. All right. So those are the 10. And we're going to start at number 1. Or if you guys feel like one in particular that you want to discuss, let me know and we can jump to that. But this is kind of in order. So housing affordability. If you feel like, if you're listening and you feel like, you know, housing affordability is something couples are struggling with, or that you might be struggling with, put a yes in the comments. Just type in yes for housing affordability as we kind of talk through this. So let me give you the stat. Nearly 50% of renters are cost burdened, meaning their rent is greater than 30% of their income, right? So I think there's a ratio where either your rent or your mortgage should be, you know, less than 30% of your income. And so 50% of renters are running into this issue, and 31% of all households are running into the issue. And then 27% of people who own are running into this issue, right? So if you do have a home, it is a burden because it's taking more of your income than it should today. All right. So when I think about this, when we first got married, and this is something that I got asked by a young couple. They just got married, probably a year in, maybe less, and they're asking, you know, how do we when should we buy a house? How do we buy a house? Is renting throwing money away? Things like that. And so I use my own personal example. When we first got married, we stayed in an apartment, and we lived across the street from where I worked. So I could walk to work. So I didn't even really have to drive in the car. And then I think we also had this, even back then, this was 28 years ago. We had housing was not what you would consider very affordable, right? The interest rates back then, y'all, 10%. 10%. We complain about the interest rates today. Back then, it's 10%. So I tell a couple, if you are in a place to buy a house, and we'll talk about what that means, but if you're in a place to buy a house, you know, people are telling you, and this is just Daniel's opinion, people are telling you, oh no, you just rent, or right now it's not a time to buy a house. There is no perfect time to buy a house. And I look at the stats on houses as houses always go up. There's never been a time in history where the prices of housing has fallen and gone into a bear market where it's constantly going down. All right, we've had dips. We've had, you know, the 2008 crash, all of that recovered very quickly. So housing over time, over a 10-year, 20-year period, it always goes up in value. And typically when you buy a house, you're going to be in the house for a while, right? And if you aren't in the house for a while, you'll sell it and get another one, right? So getting into the housing market when you are financially able to do it is a good thing, right? Home ownership is typically the biggest asset that most people own, right? So it's most of our wealth. So that's what I would say in terms of housing affordability. Now, we bought 4 years into our marriage, so we were renting for 4 years. Now, did we make a effort to get a house before then? Yeah, some of those efforts fell through. Interest rates were high. Being able to put enough down was difficult. You know, so all those factors played into us waiting 4 years to get into our first house. And so I would say that if you are house burdened where it's more than 30% of your income, then maybe just continue to save and rent if you can do both, because I know it's tough these days in terms of affordability. But if you can save money and rent, then do both, especially as a young couple, because you got a lot of runway in front of you and there's no rush, there's no hurry. right? To get into something that might be over your head.
Yeah, I think it's all about your profession. Everybody is not making a certain amount of income, percentage wise. You look at and I'm not sure about the stats, but you got to look at how many people are really actually into those six figures, like especially a one person bringing in six figures. And then if you got two, both of them are making six figures, then yeah, just like what you said, if you're financially able, then you're able to do that. But now what I've noticed is that depending on the location, depending on where you live, depending on the insurance, some of those things that you might want are almost unreachable. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your income. You got some people who are making 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. That you can't go and get a $500,000 house, in the school system and all that type of stuff. So it's difficult. And even when we, looking at cars, I feel like after around 2020, I remember you can go and buy a decent used car and pay it off with cash. Now, it's almost impossible to get a used car. It's like,
That's nice.
That's nice. Used
That's
car,
like cheap, like back in the day cheap.
yeah, I'm like, even like 2009 cars are like, you still want that amount of money for that car?
Yeah.
So I feel like things have gone up so much that it's harder for the middle class income bracket to really attain certain types of houses in certain locations. Sometimes you definitely have to think about where we're going to live and where the location is. And then, you got to think about, again, state to state, everything is different, like when we was living in Arizona, you really living in the county, Maricopa County, was a little more difficult. So we moved out of the county, out in Maricopa, where the housing was just a little more affordable, but that was still pretty pricey.
It was still painful. The drive.
Yeah,
that was a drive.
Then you're far
Yeah,
away.
we just made that drive for Kendra's. We kind of had a party, celebration party, where we dressed up. It was went back to the 90s, like 93 or something like that, where everybody came in dressed up. We had nerds, we had the jocks, we had the doctors, but it was really fun. But you reminded me, Maricopa, you got that one way
drive, man.
We thought Kendra was like, I thought it was gonna take 30 minutes. It said 50 minutes. Yeah, 50-minute drive.
Well, don't let it be an accident on that one little street. You hit.
Hey,
you're done. Yeah.
It used to be 30 minutes, but there's a lot of people living out there now, so it's pretty.
I knew the moment that I knew that I was like, okay, I don't want to live out here anymore. We had a youth all-nighter at the church, and the staff was expected to work it. And we didn't get no sleep. It was like a true all-nighter. Nobody slept. And we had to, I don't know why we drove separate cars, but we had to drive separate cars. Oh, that was the worst drive of my whole entire life. It was like, okay, roll down the windows. Okay, play some music. Okay, you can do it. It was like, I cannot stay up. This is so bad. And that was the longest ride home of my life. And after I made it home successfully, and I thank Jesus for not letting me hit a tree, I was like, because I was so tired. I was like, I can't live out here no more. It's time.
What tree was you going to hit?
I'm just talking.
You're going to go into the desert and hit them.
I might roll into a mountain or something. But I just was like, I couldn't keep my eyes open for nothing. It was so bad. Yeah. So that's when I was like, I can't do Maricopa no more. It took us a minute. It took us a minute, but it still was like, I don't think I can do this no more. But what I wanted to say, well, all the different transitioning out of that, all the different 10 points you brought up, my thought is I hadn't really thought about all the different areas of finance that affect couples. And it's like, how do couples make it through those situations, to me, is the big question.
I remember Bishop Butler when we was at Word of Faith back in Detroit. He said something when we was young, when we was in our 20s. And I always love this. And so I think this is always good for younger people. And he said this, delay gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what you were saying is like, hey, let's be strategic and let's delay. So let's say we are making the 6-figure amount of income, so let's just say 100,000. So we're making 200,000. He was basically saying live way below your means and then take certain or I try to live off of one income. And I don't know. And again, I don't know how feasible that is, but
right.
I'm pretty sure it can happen. I mean, you could probably live in a tiny house and just say, hey, we're just going to try to do it. But he says, live way below your means, try to live off of one income, take the other income, and now you're investing that or you're saving that until you are able to actually have a certain amount of income. And of course, using the Dave Ramsey rule of thumb, you got your what 3
your
to
debt
6
snowball and your 3 to 6 month savings.
And I'm not even talking about that, but let's just say just to delaying gratification. You're buying your cars cash if possible. That's part of delaying gratification. Mm-hmm. That's might not buy off your phones, instead of doing those multiple plans they have and everything like that, like many of us have.
Yep.
Latest and greatest. So delaying gratification, saying, hey, babe, what we want to do, we got married at 24, 25. For the next 5 years, we're going to do this. We're going to live way below our means so that, when we hit our 30s, we can go ahead and do that. And I think that was some of the best advice that I've heard. Now doing it is the other thing, being obedient to it. But I thought that was so good how he's saying it's like, hey, we're going to live off of one income. We're going to do our best. And then your income, we're going to save that,
Sure.
And then he was saying, let's try to save that 6 figures to where we have 6 figures in the bank or working for us. And then now we can start saying, hey, let's go and look into home ownership because we took this 5 years of dedicated time. We're not going to get any debt. We're going to try to pay for things cash. I don't know how reasonable it is now. All that time, and say delay gratification, which I thought was awesome, great advice.
Yeah, I think it's still feasible to pay for things in cash, but you do have to apply delayed gratification to do that. Mm-hmm. Or instead of you living in the luxury apartments that's $2,500 a month, pick some apartments that are $1,300 a month. Or now this might sound radical, but one thing that you could do, because housing is not as affordable as it used to be. Let's say you're a young married couple and your parents have maybe like a mother-in-law suite, or they got one of those houses that have two situations, two kitchens, I can't remember what they're called, but next gen, I think they're called next gen homes, like that now. And so maybe you and your wife move, or you and your husband move into that for a little bit, for 3-4 years, and stash cash, right? So just an option. We're giving some practical advice on things that you can potentially do, because I remember when family needs to help family, especially in these times. And other cultures outside of Black culture, I know there's cultures where and I was talking to a guy from Ghana the other day, and he was saying men and their wives sometimes don't move out of the house until they're like 30 or more, right? Until they have themselves established to the point where they can really stand on their own. And sometimes they stay home because they eventually are going to take over the family business. That might be a farm or whatever. Just some ideas for us to be thinking about who live in the US, who are, as soon as we hit 18, we're like, get out, right? Maybe not, especially maybe not in this scenario, but you don't want to be a freeloader. But if you are working and contributing, those are practical ways for you to, address being able to have stash cash and get to the point where you can potentially have a house. And I don't think you need 6-figure incomes, because when we bought our first house, my income was not a 6-figure income.
Mm-hmm.
I had to work up to that after we had bought the house. And so the key is saving money. So I always think to myself, and have said this to others, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So what you can subtract, take away, move around, so that you can focus on that long-term goal of eventually landing that house.
What do you guys? Ooh, can you hear that feedback? Echo?
No, I don't hear it.
Okay, good. So I was gonna say, what would you guys say to couples who, like, that's not a thing that they can come to an agreement on any of it? Like, okay, how much are we gonna save? Are we gonna stay in, mom's, basement or her casita or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to couples who just can't get on the same page with
it? When you say who can't get on the same page, you mean can't get on the same page in terms of where they're going to stay or how they're going to save up for it?
Like
or
the plan, yeah. Like
I ain't staying in your mama's house.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be a man, and you're supposed to get me a house.
Yeah. That they need to come to y'all for a little bit of counseling on how to talk to each other. But
I didn't marry you to stay in your mama's casita.
Casitas are nice.
And sometimes
your mama's house. We're supposed to have our own house.
And there's sometimes you can talk each other through that situation, because the outcome will be better in the long run if we did this back, right? So 10 years from now, we could have our own house and have $400,000 in the bank, right? So as a husband or as a wife who may understand the financial aspects of what you are trying to do, to be able to lay that out is important, right?
Yeah.
And not just say, hey, we're gonna stay with mama. Well, I think you're right, Dennis. You do need a plan, and you need a plan, right? We're not just staying there to be staying there. Now, if you're staying there and spending all your money, and then that's not a solution. I mean, your mama don't even want that, right?
No. She might if you spending it on her. But I just wanted to put that out there, because with the time we have left, we're probably not going to be able to hit all of them.
We ain't getting through all of these, but we're going to follow up. We'll follow up if folks are interested in the discussion, right? We'll continue it. So if you are watching this with us right now, you're live, and you have questions or thought about housing affordability or something that you've run into, type of 1, because that's the number one thing on the list. Type of 1 in the comments. Let us know on replay. Type of 1. And then, so the second one is childcare costs. I know both of us are at a point where we've done that, been there, done it.
Thank you, Jesus.
We can really, I remember when we didn't have to buy formula no more. I was like, hallelujah.
You ain't ever lied.
Formula was the most expensive. I was like,
gangster.
I really wish my wife could have breastfed them all the way through with the amount of money we had to pour in the formula. Good Lord, it was expensive. I still remember that.
Yeah,
I think trauma, all of it.
Right. I think for us was daycare. I think daycare was really tough. I mean, because we even got creative. We talked to the daycare and say, can we just come 3 days a week? Because it was so expensive. And so when they got into school, that was a happy hallelujah for us.
I felt like having Aaron before I got married, it was formula for me. And it was daycare, because I remember key moments, right? Like when I got her off of diapers, I was like, "Ooh, you need to celebrate yourself." But when I got her off of formula, I remember I went and bought some stuff. Like, you deserve to be celebrated, Angela, because you made it through. Like, you made it through. And then when I got done with daycare, I was like,
we can get a brand new. We could get a brand new car.
Wow. I think I went and bought like a Coach purse or something because I was like, you deserve to be celebrated, Angela. Like you did it. You did it. And I felt
You're hitting on a very good point here where this is concerned. When you have children, you have to have sacrifice in the picture, right? You're going to make some trade-offs when you're having children, right? The Coach purse gonna have to wait. You know, I would have bought a Mercedes, but I'm gonna buy this Camry over here because you know my kids got to be in a place that's safe and that I trust, especially if both parents are working or have to work. Or you may have to also put those things aside because one parent is going to stay home, right? The wife may be like, you know, while they're in diapers or in their formative years, I'm going to be here, right? So that's a trade-off when you decide that you're going to have children. I believe in having children. Have as many children as you can have within your ability. I think they are a blessing from the Lord, right?
Yeah, but that daycare ain't. Well, let me say it like this: that daycare bill ain't, because I nicknamed daycare modern day rape, financial rape. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Wow.
Every time I paid it, I felt some kind of way.
It was expensive, man. It was expensive.
Oh,
I remember about $1,200 a month in daycare for our two kids when they were little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tuition right there. That's a huge tuition.
Yeah, that's oof.
Yeah, I don't miss those days.
Working, right? So because we had decided when we got married that we discussed this. I told Kendra, hey, you don't have to work. I make enough. Now we do have to make some sacrifices, or we're not going to drive the most fancy cars or live in the biggest houses, but you have that flexibility with us doing it this way, right? And so that's what we did. So she was off and on when we were having kids. When she really wanted to be there, she was there. When she was tired of being there, and she would go get a job, and we put them in daycare. But and I do think that the best for children is to have one parent at home. Specifically for me, I think it's the better for the mother to be there because you got the natural breastfeeding and nurturing and weaning and all of that. But yeah.
I will just say this: it's based on, ladies, I say this to you, or even men. I begged Dennis to make me a stay-at-home mom. My joke was like, retire me, right? And then he retired me, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Please send me back to corporate. I can't do it. Because Chris and Lauren would fight all day long. I remember Chris and Lauren. Chris was like 5, and I think Lauren was 2. And they would fight all day long. And I told him he would come home, I would be crying. I'm like, I feel like a human referee. I was like, all I do is spend time is like, ding, round 2. And here they go again. And all I do is break up fights all day. Lauren's trying to hit him in the head. He trying to get her back. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so I did what we decided to do was for me to go back to work until they got into preschool so I could have a mental break. And so I just want to say, parents, you just got to be honest with yourself. And I had to be honest with myself. I was like, I can't do it. And it might have just been my kids, but I wanted it. I thought it was great. And then I was like, it's not great no more.
Yeah. I think it goes back to that phrase of, some things just won't be convenient when it comes to money. It won't be comfortable. And it won't be what you can control. There's some things that you go into marriage with, it's just out of your control. You might have student loans, because you went to medical school, or you went to law school, or you went to school, period. Mm-hmm. And so some things are just going to be out of your control. And so that's where, just like what you said, that's where the sacrifice, that's where the surrender, that's where the submission to a plan, to delay gratification, to figuring out what's next. And I think, and for us,
I I chose my mental health over that. I was like, I can't do it no more.
For us, we're
Like,
both
gonna find the money.
yeah. For both of us, we're both spenders, and so
so it's rough for us.
So sometimes it's kind of like that's the surrendering of, hey, I've worked all week for this paycheck. I want to go and get me something nice to eat, or I want to get me something nice to wear. And so that was, again, that's coming from how you was raised. It could have been the Detroit stuff. You know, I used to always say in Detroit, it's like, man, people never have money until the holidays. And holidays would be having fur coats. Like, where'd you get the fur coat from? You know, it's like,
let me say this real quick. Detroit, my birthday was in January. I knew I wasn't getting squat because all of my people spent all their money on Christmas and New Year's and the church picnics and all that stuff. And I was like, well, no church picnic in December. But I was like, I'm not getting no present because Detroit people done spent all their money. I ain't getting nothing.
But, you know, I think that's where you have to come back and say to yourself, what do I need to sacrifice in this season of our life? And I think that's where getting on the same page is sometimes difficult because one person sees, hey, this is the urgency that we need. The other person say, yeah, it may be urgent, but
my mental health,
getting on that same page is so important, so that we can hear each other. We can not just hear each other, but listen to each other, so you can communicate, hey, this is what I see that we need to do. And okay, I see that, but is there any gap for me to do? And so again, working those things out. And so I would love to hear from other people. What is some of the things that you did, if we got a little bit of time, to get on the same page when we disagreed with our finances, whether it's how we spent our money or someone spending too much money and we had to have that talk as, hey, we're spending too much money. What did you guys do to get on the same page? So hopefully y'all can chime in real quick with that if you're still
okay. Yeah, and I was going to ask a similar question around just the childcare. What did you do, right? What were your trade-offs when it came to caring for your children, or whether one person came home or you decided to sell some stuff or move some stuff around to make sure you could send the kids to daycare? Because daycare today is anywhere from, for just one child, is anywhere from $6,000 up to $15,000 a year.
That's real. Okay, I was about to say something. Okay.
That is ridiculous.
What's up, Aaron George? And also,
hey,
what's up, Tawana? But okay, so be a little more specific. We create a budget. So again, a budget is excellent. I thank God for this lovely life. There's a nice little budget that we can just see where everything is at, where it's going, and all that type of stuff. So when you was creating a budget, Aaron, was it something that you had to talk to your wife to and say, hey, this is what we need to do because of what? What was the reason? I know we say we should create a budget, but what was the thing for you to say, hey, so both of us can be on the same page, let's create a budget? What was that thing for you guys? Was you the saver? You saw her spending a little too much? What was the thing to say, hey, we need to create a budget? Just curious.
All right, while he's answering that question, let's go on to number 3, which today is a big one. All right, we hear it in the news day after day. Inflation. Couples, we are even as single people.
No, I'm the man. No, I'm the man. No, Aaron.
Oh, man, we can't touch that.
Oh man, no, I'm the man.
That was good.
That was a good one. Yep. So if you're watching on replay, then what we would like you to do is, if you are, if you've dealt with a housing issue, housing affordability, or maybe you're in the middle of it, put a 1 in the comments. Or maybe the biggest thing for you is childcare right now because you got 2-3 little ones running around and they're driving you crazy, like what Andrew was talking about. You put them somewhere. But you don't have the money. You don't have $15,000 a year to put them anywhere. So, what kind of trade-offs are you making for your child care? So if that's your biggest issue, put a 2 in there. Or if you're dealing with that, you can put a 1 and a 2 if you're dealing with both. Because we kind of want to see who's dealing with these issues. And then inflation. I know everybody is dealing with inflation, y'all.
Yeah.
Although I went to the store the other day and the eggs have come down, right? So they definitely have come back down. But everything else is up. One thing that I really like is dark chocolate, right? So I eat a lot of dark chocolate, and I go to Sprouts to get my dark chocolate almonds. So, and I buy them so much because I don't eat any other sweets, candies, anything like that. That's my treat. And so I know it was the price, $6.99. That's what the price is. Not anymore. The price is $9.99 now. So, and then everything else on the shelf is up as well. So, I mean, I can't even come out of the grocery store without spending $50, $60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So inflation is pinching. It's pinching.
Yeah.
And I know that, I'm at the end of my career. So I'm retired from one job and all of that. So I know folks getting started are really feeling the pinch of inflation. So if that's you, if you're feeling the pinch of inflation, put a 3 in the comment. And so 73% of Americans, U.S. adults, report that the economy is a significant stressor. What would you guys say? Is the economy stressing over there?
Well, well, we live in Florida, so we're not as expensive as Phoenix, because Phoenix, when we left, it was got there, but we have higher insurance out here, and so our car insurance, that's another might add maybe a few more $100 out there, and then thank God our kids have gotten off of our insurance.
Yes, happy
so
hallelujah.
that's another hallelujah. But the insurance is pretty high out here. I know they try to say it's the hurricanes and all the type of stuff, but the insurance is pretty high, car auto insurance, and so that sometimes can be a little stressor. But again, I don't know what the going rates nationwide, so I don't pay attention to nothing like that. It's just kind of, hey, this is what they say you got to pay, but things have gone down for us now that our kids are off for our insurance.
Sure. What about the other things like groceries, household supplies? Do you feel like that extra?
Everything is up. I think the thing that's super helpful for us is to do online grocery shopping. Like we don't have Fry's here, like a physical. It's Kroger's, but Kroger's and Fry's, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a physical store here, but we do have
a physical Kroger's.
Yeah, we don't have a physical store to walk into Kroger's, but we have a way to order Kroger's and it'll get delivered here. And so to me, that is helpful. I'm not like grocery shopping off of feelings. I have a list. I have a budget. I'm able to, before I check out, see how much what's it going to be and take it off. So to me, when we do Kroger, it's actually like very doable. Versus when I go into Publix, if anybody's familiar with Publix is like Publix.
That's really interesting that you can access lower costs through an online purchase at Kroger's versus walking into a Publix and spending more. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's the same with Walmart too. I don't know. I know now you get into quality and all that type of stuff. I'm not going to talk about that, but it depends on how you strategize. For us, when we did the online, you wouldn't, you hear people go to the grocery store and say, "Hey, I want some popcorn," or "Let me get another apple," or something like here, or something sweet, and it's not on your list. Here, when you're doing online, it's on your list, and you're not being tempted by what you're walking through the aisles and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you're spending it. But as far as your question, we felt the stress of this has been the conversation that we have said, or we said to ourselves, man, I spent $200 and only came out with this amount of bags.
Right. I only got 5 bags, but I paid $150.
Yeah. So it's kind of like one of those type of things where you just kind of like, wow, what our dollars not going as far with the groceries. And so again,
Yeah.
being creative,
Yeah, being
with that.
creative. Like, okay, I might, buy this kind of meat and I might make it into 2-3 different,
Yeah.
menu items. So yeah, to me, it's what y'all said earlier. It's the plan. It's the strategy.
Yeah. And that's so I got one of Aaron's responses here. We both had to learn how to communicate what was important to us, and he's talking about through the budget. All right. And I think that's an important piece here when you talk about these areas. One of the things that can help, a practical thing that can help, is writing it down and telling every dollar, giving every dollar a name before you actually spend the money. Especially when we run into, oh, now we got children, we didn't have children before, and so you can kind of see on paper, well, the money don't go as far as it used to. So, and we got these children now, so we got to figure out, Netflix might have to go, cable might have to go. We can't watch the car every week, whatever. And you'll see that on paper, and it'll help you, telling you, young couples, hear me, hear what Aaron is saying. The budget, writing it down, is going to save you so much stress, so many arguments, so many disagreements, because it allows you to literally get on the same page before you actually go out there and spend the money. Now, are you still going to make mistakes? Absolutely. Right? You're going to write something down, and then you're going to go out and forget what you wrote down and spend the money on something you weren't supposed to anyway. But then you got to use your conflict resolution skills to come back and figure that out and negotiate that with your spouse.
Right.
So we are at the top of the hour. So we're definitely not going to get to all 10, but we're going to hopefully come back and address some of the rest of these, because I think they're important. And when we talk about practical things when it comes to money, like credit card delinquencies, emergency funds, you're dealing with student loans, you're keeping secrets from each other. What can you do about that? How can you get to a place where you don't have to do that anymore? Because some of this stems from where you came from, how you grew up, right? We've talked about that before. Auntie telling you, stash something to the side because you don't know what that Negro gonna do. So on and so forth. But and so we can rewire ourselves, renew our minds where that stuff is concerned. So we'll come back next time and we'll continue to talk about money. If you guys want to continue to talk about this subject, let us know. If you're watching on replay, or if you're here now and you want to continue the subject, type in continue, so we know that you do want to hear, kind of how we've handled this, or you may even chime in on how you've done it, like Aaron did here tonight. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week right here, same bat channel, same bat time. Peace.
Bye, y'all.